This is America in the Morning from Westwood One. I'm John Trout. It's Monday, September 1st, 2025. Here's what's coming up on America in the Morning.
Kristi Noem has confirmed that the Trump administration will soon expand immigration operations in Chicago. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
President Trump widening his push to alter voting requirements ahead of next year's midterm elections. I'm Jeff McKay in Washington.
Rudy Giuliani hospitalized, recovering from a fractured vertebrae. I'm Clayton Neville.
A judge, at least temporarily, blocking the government from deporting a group of Guatemalan children who had crossed the border without their families. I'm Julie Walker.
On Wall Street, it's quiet. The markets are closed for this Labor Day holiday after a winning August. I'm Jessica Ettinger.
Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook is looking for a court order to block her firing by President Trump. Kaya Panjwani, Washington.
All ahead on America in the Morning. A question of a surge of National Guard troops and ICE officials onto the streets of Chicago is no longer if, but when. Lisa Dwyer reports on plans to beef up federal intervention in the Windy City as Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem, speaking on CBS News Face the Nation, says Illinois Governor JB Pritzker has to do what's in the best interest of Chicagoans.
Well, for 13 consecutive years, Chicago had more murders than any other American city. In fact, just last year in 2024, they had 3 times the amount of murders that LA did, 5 times more than New York City. So he can talk about what a great job he's doing as governor, but he's failing those families who will no longer have their child with them, their mother or their father. This seems like it's more about Governor Pritzker's ego now, rather than actually protecting his people.
Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem has confirmed that the Trump administration will soon expand immigration operations in Chicago, the nation's third largest city, as President Donald Trump lashed out, warning Chicago's Democratic leadership to straighten out Chicago's crime problem quickly, or, quote, we're coming.
We have received credible reports that we have days, not weeks.
Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson.
We do not want to see tanks in our streets. We do not want to see families ripped apart. We do not want grandmothers thrown into the back of unmarked vans.
Chicago's mayor signed an order.
This sweeping executive order directs our Department of Law to pursue any and every legal mechanism to hold this administration accountable for violating the rights of Chicagoans. This order affirms that the Chicago Police Department will not collaborate with military personnel on police patrols or civil immigration enforcement.
Trump lashed out against the state's governor, warning him that he must straighten out Chicago's crime problems quickly, or, quote, we're coming. The governor and Chicago's mayor have pushed back on those plans, saying crime has fallen in Chicago. They are planning to sue.
Instead, I say, Mr. President, do not come to Chicago. You are neither wanted here nor needed here. Your remarks about this effort over the last several weeks have betrayed a continuing slip in your mental faculties and are not fit for the auspicious office that you occupy.
Chicago's mayor has already signed an order barring the Chicago Police Department from helping federal authorities with civil immigration enforcement or any related patrols, traffic stops, and checkpoints during any surge. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
Widening his push to alter voting requirements ahead of next year's midterm elections, President Trump pledges to sign an executive order mandating that voters be required to present identification before casting ballots. More on the story from America in the Morning's Jeff McKay.
Voter ID must be a part of every single vote, no exceptions, he wrote on Truth Social. The president adding he wants states to use paper ballots that have exemptions that would only be given to sick people or those serving the military, but he didn't stop there in changing how states handle their election process.
And we should go to paper ballots. We should go to one-day voting. We should go to voter ID, and just one other thing, proof of a thing called citizenship in the United States. Wouldn't that be nice? How simple does that sound? Paper ballots are very secure. They have watermark paper. It's very intricate stuff. It's very technologically advanced, even though it's paper.
Speaking on the Fox News Sean Hannity show last week, the president stated that the idea of removing mail-in ballots from U.S. elections came from his meeting with Russian leader Vladimir Putin.
He said no country has mail-in voting. It's impossible to have mail-in voting and have honest elections. And he said that to me. It was very interesting because we talked about 2020. He said, you won that election by so much. And that's how he got it. He said, and if you would have won, we wouldn't have had a war. You'd have all these millions of people alive now instead of dead. And he said, and you lost it because of mail-in voting.
Trump has regularly attacked the election process since losing the 2020 election, blaming the defeat on mail-in ballots and voter fraud. If he does seek to change voting requirements, he would likely be challenged in court because elections are administered by states and the Constitution gives Congress the power to change those rules. 36 states have laws requesting or requiring voters to show some form of identification at the polls, this according to the National Conference of State Legislatures. Critics of changing voting laws say that the ones like Trump is proposing could block U.S. citizens who have changed their names or not updated identification documents from voting, and claim there would be both hardships and extremely long lines if voting was only allowed on Election Day. I'm Jeff McKay in Washington.
The top stories of the day are sponsored by Sleep Number. It's the biggest sale of the year. All beds are on sale, limited time, only at a Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com. The latest in the immigration tug-of-war, Guatemalan children. That and more when America in the Morning continues after these messages. Welcome back to America in the Morning. Not a lot of active weather, but let's get the forecast. Here's AccuWeather.com meteorologist Matt Rindy.
As we are finishing up the holiday weekend, we are generally looking at a decent weather pattern over a large part of the country. The main feature on the weather map this morning is a very slow-moving area of low pressure over the Central Plains. This system has been causing showers and thunderstorms through the weekend and some heavier pockets of activity through South Dakota into central Nebraska. Today, the greatest risk for thunderstorms producing heavy rainfall will be across eastern Nebraska into western Iowa, as well as eastern Kansas and western Missouri. Even rain this morning could be disruptive for those having to travel. Clouds and rain in the area will also lead to highs only in the 60s and low 70s. Outside of that heavier rain, there'll be a few showers to the north in the eastern Dakotas into western Minnesota. The rest of the region is expected to remain largely dry with some sunshine and highs in the 70s and 80s. Another area where some heavier thunderstorms may develop will be in southern Texas. Parts of these areas have also been hit with heavier rain this past weekend. There will be some showers and thunderstorms through the Tennessee Valley from Kentucky to northern Mississippi and Alabama, and a few thunderstorms in Florida, which could also contain some heavy rain. Most of the southeast will otherwise be dry with sunshine. That dry weather will extend into the Great Lakes, into the Ohio Valley, and the Northeast. Most areas will have plenty of sunshine and highs largely in the 70s and 80s. Heading out west, it's going to be dry as well with plenty of sunshine, but it is going to be quite hot with highs over the interior portions of Washington and Oregon into western Idaho, hitting the upper 90s and 100s. That's the weather across America. Job, West Virginia is going to have a very nice day with clouds and sun and a high of 74. Union, South Carolina will have plenty of sunshine with a high near 80. That's the nation's weather. I'm AccuWeather.com meteorologist Matt Rindy.
Remember, you can follow us wherever you get your podcasts. Simply search America in the Morning in your favorite listening app. Former New York City Mayor Rudy Giuliani is hospitalized after a serious car crash over the weekend. Correspondent Clayton Neville reports.
A spokesperson for Rudy Giuliani says that the 81-year-old is recovering from a fractured vertebrae and other injuries following a car crash in New Hampshire. According to his head of security, Giuliani's vehicle was struck from behind while traveling on a highway Saturday night. The former New York City mayor is said to be recovering tremendously, though, and is in good spirits. It's not believed the crash was a targeted attack. In addition to the fractured vertebrae, Giuliani suffered multiple lacerations and contusions, as well as injuries to one of his arms and lower leg. The crash came after Giuliani had been flagged down by a woman who was the victim of a domestic violence incident and called police on her behalf. But the crash apparently is thought to be random and unrelated to that situation. I'm Clayton Neville.
A judge has barred the government from sending planes with Guatemalan children who entered the United States illegally and without their parents back to their home country for now. Correspondent Julie Walker reports.
A judge, at least temporarily, blocking the government from deporting a group of Guatemalan children who had crossed the border without their families. Attorneys for the 10 minors, ages 10 to 17, said there were reports that planes were set to take off within hours for the Central American country, but a federal judge in Washington said those children could not be deported for at least 14 days. And after a hearing Sunday, she enforced that they needed to be taken off the planes while the legal process plays out. Government lawyers maintain the children were not being deported, but rather reunited at the request of their parents or guardians, a claim the children's lawyers dispute, at least in some cases. I'm Julie Walker.
New car buyers eye sticker shock when America in the Morning continues after these messages. Welcome back. Here with America in the Morning. No opening bell on Wall Street today. Here's CNBC's Jessica Ettinger with the business report.
Wall Street quiet this morning. The financial markets are closed because it's Labor Day. Crypto doesn't care, though. It's trading anyway. You can buy crypto like Bitcoin anytime you want, 24/7. Those markets never close. August is in the books for stocks, and it was a winning month for the major averages, with the S&P 500 index notching its fourth straight winning month. September is typically the worst month for stocks, and some investors say if a pullback's coming, it should be manageable.
If we have a little seasonal weakness after a 30% rally, I think it's going to be contained, say 4 to 6%. And there's still a lot of reasons the underlying pinnings that got us to this bull market are still healthy.
Carson Group's Ryan Dietrich on CNBC. Lots of consumers will get some back to school shopping done today, as about a quarter of U.S. school students haven't started classes yet, especially in the Northeast. Many of those who have started have only had half days and more supplies are needed. Car buyers heading to dealerships today to see what's out there, maybe looking to see if any 2026 models have arrived, but they're not going to find much that they would call affordable.
Auto prices continue to move higher, and it's the upper end of the market where you're seeing the most growth. Cox Automotive has pulled this data for us. More than one out of every four vehicles sells for over $60,000. Almost half go for over $50,000. Average transaction price is close to an all-time high at just under $49,000. I know people will sit there and say it's ridiculous. There should be more vehicles for under $40,000, under $30,000. That doesn't happen anymore. Generally speaking, they're not going to go back down.
CNBC's Phil LeBeau. Technically, summer is not over, but theme parks, just like retailers, have moved on to Halloween already. Disneyland in California, all about Halloween, and Universal opened its Halloween Horror Nights celebration last Friday, which runs into early November. Universal's a sister company to CNBC. You may see Labubu's on your kids' Christmas list. You may have heard about it over the weekend. A hot, ugly doll character made by Pop Mart. When you buy one, you never know what you're going to get.
Pop Mart is behind this big Labubu craze. The company announced massive earnings. The stock went on a roller coaster ride, though, hitting a record. And this is after plunging because investors are really trying to figure out whether or not Pop Mart is riding a fad or if this is a sustainable business. The character is Labubu. This is a female elf-like monster that really became a phenomenon because of the blind box, a mystery box. People don't exactly know. They open it up. They get really excited about it.
CNBC's Eunice Yoon in Beijing. On this week's watch list, it gets busy. Earnings coming from Macy's, Dollar Tree, and Salesforce. The big economic report will be the August jobs report, out Friday morning.
Thank you. CNBC's Jessica Ettinger. Judge delays decision on Trump's firing of a Fed official. When America in the Morning continues after these messages. Following a move by Secretary of State Marco Rubio barring over 6 dozen Palestinian officials, along with Mahmoud Abbas, from attending the United Nations General Assembly this month, the Trump administration has enacted a sweeping suspension of approvals of almost all types of visitor visas for Palestinian passport holders. The New York Times is reporting that the new policy goes beyond the restrictions announced by U.S. officials recently on visitor visas for Palestinians from Gaza and will also impact those requesting visas for medical treatment, university studies, and family and other visits to the United States. The new rules do not apply to Palestinians with dual nationalities or to those who have already obtained visas. An emergency court hearing over President Trump's attempt to fire Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook ended with an unexpected ruling this week, but questions remain regarding allegations of mortgage fraud. Correspondent Panjwani reports.
Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook is looking for a court order to block her firing by President Trump, a case that could provide the Trump administration with new and expansive power over the traditionally independent Federal Reserve got its first court hearing. Cook has requested an emergency injunction to block President Trump's attempt to fire her over allegations that she committed mortgage fraud when she purchased a home and condo in 2021. In court, the lawyers representing the Justice Department complained that Cook had not offered an explanation for anything questionable in her mortgage documents or a defense against the fraud allegations. Cook's lawyer called it an obvious smear campaign aimed at discrediting Governor Cook, saying that the allegations were vague and unsubstantiated. The law governing the Fed says the president can't fire a governor just because they disagree over interest rate policy. Trump has repeatedly demanded that the Fed reduce its current key rate, which is at 4.3%. Panjwani, Washington.
America in the Morning for Monday, September 1st, 2025 is produced by Jeff McKay. I'm John Trout. This is Westwood One. This is America in the Morning from Westwood One. I'm John Trout. Coming up this half hour.
Congress is back Tuesday with a possible government shutdown looming. I'm John Stolnis in Washington.
Still no peace deal between Russia and Ukraine, and the war between those countries intensifies. I'm Clayton Neville.
Shakeup at the CDC. I'm Katie Clark with details.
Charges in a Montana quadruple murder, the latest on a judge's tariff ruling, and Greta Thunberg flotilla is back.
Older releases landed in the top spots at the box office this weekend. I'm Kevin Carr.
Powerball players get another chance Monday at a jackpot estimated at $1.1 billion. I'm Julie Walker.
Back after these messages. You're with America in the Morning. Happy Labor Day. Here's today's forecast from AccuWeather.com meteorologist Matt Rindy.
Starting out west, we are going to be dry with plenty of sunshine. It's going to be quite hot again with highs in the interior portions of Washington and Oregon into western Idaho, hitting the upper 90s and 100s. That 100-degree heat will also be likely in many California Valley areas with 100 and teens in the desert. 100s will also be likely through southern Nevada into Arizona. It will be a touch lower in New Mexico where highs will hold in the 80s, where there will be some afternoon showers and thunderstorms around. As we're finishing up the holiday weekend, we're generally looking at some nice weather over a large part of the country. The main system is a slow-moving area of low pressure over the Central Plains, and this system has been causing showers and thunderstorms through the weekend with some heavier activity through South Dakota into central Nebraska. The best opportunity for thunderstorms with heavy rainfall today will be across eastern Nebraska into western Iowa, as well as eastern Kansas into western Missouri. Even rain this morning could be heavy at times, causing some slower travel. Clouds and rain in the area will also lead to highs only in the 60s and low 70s. Outside of that heavier rain, there'll be a few showers and thunderstorms to the north in the eastern Dakotas into western Minnesota, and the rest of the region is expected to remain largely dry with sunshine and highs in the 70s and 80s. Another area where some heavier thunderstorms may develop will be across southern Texas. Parts of these areas have also been hit with some heavier rain this past weekend. And there will be some showers and a thunderstorm or two through the Tennessee Valley, from Kentucky through northern Mississippi and Alabama, and a few thunderstorms in Florida, which could also contain some heavy rain. Most of the southeast will otherwise be dry with sunshine. That dry weather will also extend through the Great Lakes into the Ohio Valley and the Northeast. That's the nation's weather. I'm AccuWeather.com meteorologist Matt Rindy.
Remember to follow us wherever you get your podcasts. Simply search America in the Morning in your favorite listening app. Congress is set to return to the nation's capital tomorrow following their summer recess, and while the Epstein files, legislation regarding the federal takeover of the D.C. police, and other items will garner headlines, another potential government shutdown is set to dominate the September congressional plans. With more from Washington, here's our John Stolness.
Congress's ability or inability to pass a spending bill will take center stage in September. Some members, like Republican Senator James Lankford, speaking last week on Fox News Sunday, will seek to pass a temporary extension that would push the deadline back from its current September 30th date.
Now we've got to be able to finish all of the appropriation bills, 12 of them, by the 30th of September. We're not going to be able to get to all of those. We're out of time to be able to do it.
Democratic House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries says if a shutdown occurs, it won't be his party's fault.
The MAGA extremists have complete control of government. If a shutdown takes place, it's because Republicans have shut the government down.
In order for an extension to pass, Republicans will need Democratic votes, which may be difficult after the negative reaction Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer received back in March when he did so. Also in the Senate, Democrats are likely to continue stalling a number of Trump nominees, which has forced delays in confirmations, as Lankford notes.
Democrats have blocked all of our nominees, and for President Trump and the confirmation there, all of them. This has literally never happened before, that every single one of them has been filibustered.
House Democrats and some Republicans will continue to try and force the release of more information in the Jeffrey Epstein case. House Speaker Mike Johnson was asked on CNN if he will allow a bill by Republican Thomas Massie and Democrat Ro Khanna for specific information to be released if they have enough votes.
We might not even wait for that. We have our own resolutions to affect this same thing. But the process is playing out as it should, and very soon the American people will have that information.
Senators will also focus on potentially harsher sanctions on countries that do business with Russia, and will hold a hearing Thursday with Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. over the resignation last week of CDC Director Susan Menares. And the House Oversight Committee will resume their investigation into former President Joe Biden's mental state while president, and both chambers will discuss legislation barring members from trading stock while serving in Congress. John Stolness, Washington.
Overnight, a 6.0 magnitude earthquake in eastern Afghanistan has claimed the lives of hundreds of people. The fighting between Russia and Ukraine is intensifying as peace talks have yet to be held. Correspondent Clayton Neville reports this as the leaders of Russia, China, and India met last week, and European leaders are devising a plan for sending troops from their nations to help defend Ukraine.
Ukraine says that 14 regions in that country have been recently targeted by Russian strikes. This weeks after President Trump met with Russian President Vladimir Putin and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky separately and continues to push for a peace deal. President Zelensky now promising new strikes deep into Russia. Zelensky says Ukraine will continue going after Russian energy infrastructure, but also ramp up the deep strikes. Meanwhile, President Putin meeting with leaders from China, India, and other countries this week. Advisor to President Trump, Peter Navarro, spoke with Fox News about countries like India that continue to increase Russian oil imports.
The Russian refiners went in and got into bed with big oil in India. Putin gives Modi a discount on the crude. They refine it and they ship it to Europe, Africa, and Asia at a big premium, and they make a ton of money. Now, what's wrong with that picture? Well, it fuels the Russian war machine.
Tennessee Senator Bill Hagerty told Fox News Sunday he thinks Putin does want to end the war.
I think what he's doing is responding to the pressure that President Trump is putting on him. Again, economic pressure, security pressure. And I think the options for Putin continue to narrow. Things are not going well in Russia. His economy is not doing well.
He also urged European countries to step up in their pressure on Putin.
I think that's the way to approach this, not to hope for some sort of benevolent turn.
This is the president of the EU told Financial Times that Europe has a pretty precise plan to send troops to Ukraine. Details and a timeline surrounding that plan, though, aren't clear yet. I'm Clayton Neville.
The CDC has received a new acting director, but leadership turmoil spilled over onto the Sunday talk shows. Katie Clark reports on internal pushback within the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention to policies being initiated by the Trump administration.
The Trump administration's Make America Healthy Again movement, led by Robert F. Kennedy Jr., addresses issues such as chronic childhood diseases, finding root causes of illnesses, and restoring integrity of scientific research. The White House is working with the Centers for Disease Control in alignment with the Make America Healthy Again agenda. RFK Jr. has been unhappy with the CDC for reasons such as them promoting fluoridated water and vaccines, which goes against the MAHA movement. Kennedy fired the CDC's director, Susan Menarez, on Friday, just 1 month after she was hired into the position. Menarez and Kennedy did not see eye to eye, with Menarez refusing to follow the new directives. Speaking on ABC This Week, Dr. Dan Jerrigan, a leader at the CDC, resigned after 30 years, discusses his reasons why.
My decision, along with two others, Deb Howery, who is the chief medical officer, and Dr. Daskalakis, who is in the immunization group at CDC, we made that decision together. And we did that because of what we saw happening to Dr. Menarez, where she was not able to do an evidence-based approach to things. Part of her firing was, in fact, that she was willing to stand up for us and not fire us.
White House Homeland Security Advisor Stephen Miller spoke to White House reporters about RFK's agenda.
Secretary Kennedy is working hard to restore the credibility and the integrity of CDC as a scientific organization committed to the scientific method and getting to the root causes of the public health epidemic in this country.
I'm Katie Clark.
Google calls it the iPhone killer. A look at their new product when America in the Morning continues after these messages. A man accused of killing 4 people in a Montana bar and eluding capture for a week while hundreds of officers scoured the surrounding mountains has been charged with 4 counts of murder. The suspect, Michael Paul Brown, lived next door to the Owl Bar in Aconda, Montana, where a bartender and 3 patrons were shot and killed 1 month ago. Following the shooting, authorities said Brown stole a truck and then ditched it. He hid in nearby forests, moving locations as police and search dogs closed in. Brown is scheduled to make an initial district court appearance Wednesday. Police have not released any details or a motive regarding the shooting. Tariffs remain in place, but a federal appeals court has delivered a blow to the president's trade policy. Correspondent Jennifer King reports that White House senior advisor for trade and manufacturing, Peter Navarro, spoke on Fox News Sunday Morning Futures, describing what the administration believes will happen next.
If China and the drug cartels from Mexico and Canada stop killing Americans tomorrow, tariffs go away. Ditto if the trade deficit went to zero. So the bottom line, very good dissent, provides a roadmap for the Supreme Court. We feel very optimistic. If we lose the case, President Trump is right. It will be the end of the United States.
A federal court has ruled that President Trump wasn't legally allowed to use emergency powers to impose tariffs on almost every nation on earth, but they did not strike down the import taxes immediately, allowing the administration time to take the case to the Supreme Court. That leaves the tariffs in place for now. The U.S. Court of Appeals for the Federal Circuit largely upheld a May decision by a trade court in New York. In the 7-4 ruling, the judges wrote, "It seems unlikely that Congress intended to grant the president unlimited authority to impose tariffs." Attorney General Pam Bondi vowed to appeal. In a post on social media, Trump wrote, "If allowed to stand, this decision would literally destroy the United States of America." I'm Jennifer King.
Israeli forces have killed the longtime spokesman for Hamas' armed wing in a Gaza City airstrike as the nation's military prepares an offensive on the Gazan capital city where it believes other Hamas leaders are sheltering. This as Israeli forces recovering the bodies of 2 hostages killed by the terror group during the October 7 attacks. Correspondent Lisa Dwyer reports on a flotilla, including activists and celebrities, setting sail towards Gaza, boats that Israel's military says will not reach the Gaza Strip shoreline.
As Israel steps up its offensive on Gaza, a flotilla of around 20 boats with activists from 44 countries are sailing from Barcelona to the Gaza Strip with humanitarian aid on board. Organizers say they will be joined by more ships along the way and expect around 70 boats by the end of the journey. Actor Leon Cunningham.
It is a shameful, shameful period in the history of our world.
Swedish activist Greta Thunberg says,
"Our aim is very clear.
year, we aim to set sail with dozens of boats to deliver humanitarian aid.
The flotilla is the fourth attempt to break the maritime blockade so far this year. In May, the first ship was attacked by drones. The Israeli military stopped another aid ship in late July, detaining 21 activists and seized its cargo. In June, Thunberg was deported by Israel after the Gaza-bound ship she was on was seized. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
Google releases their much-anticipated Pixel 10 AI phone with much fanfare. Some are even calling it the iPhone killer. Chuck Palm has details in today's Tech Report.
My new Pixel phone arrived on Saturday morning, and I must say it did not disappoint. After a very strange unboxing episode, I found a sleeker, almost iPhone-like bezel, but with a beefier frame for the QI2 magnets. This is important because QI2 is a quick charger for wireless charging and new super strong magnetic phone holders. The new 10.8 megapixel 5x telephoto and a 48 pixel wide view camera are the stars of the show, but the included AI tools like the Magic Editor are boosting shots thanks to the Tensor G5 Google custom chip, delivering 34% faster CPU and 60% faster TPU for all the AI tasks. Unlike the latest iPhones, the included AI Magic Q software drops hints and suggestions from your photos, your desktop, or even what you're browsing on the web. This just might be a glimpse into the future for AI-centric communications. Find me at chuckpalm.com.
Here's Monday Sports on America in the Morning with Robert Workman.
Just 1 month left in the baseball season. Sunday, Drake Baldwin's two-run homer in the top of the ninth lifted the Braves over the Phillies 3-1 last night. To salvage one game in the four-game set, Philadelphia maintains a 6-game lead in the NL East as the Marlins sailed past the Mets 5-1. Will Smith smacked a pinch-hit jack in the bottom of the ninth to give the Dodgers a 5-4 walk-off win over the Diamondbacks and a 2-game lead in the NL West after the Twins tattooed the Padres 7-2. Blue Jays doubled up the Brewers 8-4 in a clash of division leaders. Milwaukee maintains the best record in the majors, while Toronto is just a half game behind Detroit for the top mark in the American League. Tigers got another stellar start from Tarek Skubal as they blanked the Royals 4-0, 7 scoreless innings for the lefty in a combo four-hitter. Angels shut out the Astros 3-0, a two-hit gem for Jose Soriano and friends. Mariners two-hit the Guardians in a 4-2 victory. Bryce Miller and the Bracelets moving Seattle within 2 games of Houston atop the AL West. White Sox shaded the Yankees 3-2 despite Aaron Judge's 43rd homer of the season. That's number 358 for Judge as a Yank, tying Yogi Berra for 5th place in franchise history.
Yogi played the game, what he meant to the pinstripe. You knew, how much it meant, being a New York Yankee to him. I feel the same way.
The Red Sox sank the Pirates 5-2. The Rockies edged the Cubs 6-5. Giants stomped the Orioles 13-2. Wins for the Reds, Rays, and Rangers. College football week 1 is almost done. There were 3 top 10 matchups with the lower-ranked team coming out on top each time. Saturday, number 3 Ohio State knocked off top-ranked Texas. Number 9 LSU upset 4th-ranked Clemson. And last night, 10th-ranked Miami held off number 6 Notre Dame. Tonight, TCU visits North Carolina. 6-time Super Bowl champion coach Bill Belichick's debut as a college head coach. Chase Briscoe won the Southern 500 at Darlington for a second straight year to open up NASCAR's Cup Series playoffs. And at the U.S. Open, Novak Djokovic advanced to his 64th Grand Slam quarterfinal, extending his record and keeping his hopes of a 25th major title very much alive. He'll take on American 4-seed Taylor Fritz tomorrow. That's Monday Sports.
When we return on America in the Morning, join the Billionaires Club. Play the lottery. When America in the Morning continues after these messages. This is America in the Morning. The holiday weekend at the box office found that the films that scored big were older ones. Entertainment reporter Kevin Carr explains.
2 former champs rose to the top of the box office on a slow Labor Day weekend.
I don't understand at all. Why just her, Classroom? Why only her?
The horror hit Weapons returned from second place this week to win the weekend. Zach Krager's thriller about missing children added $10 million to its coffers, hitting $134 million total and $234 million worldwide.
You're going to need a bigger boat.
Another blast from the past took a bite out of the top 10 with the 50th anniversary of Jaws devouring $8.1 million and landing in second place.
These guys you messed up with, they're scary monsters.
Darren Aronofsky's comedy crime thriller Caught Stealing just barely lost to The Great White Shark of Amity, bringing in $7.8 million for third place.
What was that? We switched bodies. I'm literally my mother, and I'm the eldest?
Reliable reboot Freakier Friday eased only 27% with $6.5 million. Good enough for fourth place.
We are done.
I say when we're done.
Finally, with $6.5 million was the War of the Roses remake, The Roses, with Benedict Cumberbatch and Olivia Colman playing feuding spouses in a divorce.
The Toxic Avenger.
That's what the kids are calling him. I think it's swell.
For those keeping score, exploitation namesake The Toxic Avenger landed outside of the top 10 with a not terrible $1.8 million. I'm Kevin Carr.
Kelsey Bateman, a contestant on the Bret Michaels reality TV show Rock of Love, passed away unexpectedly. Bateman was just 39. Rock of Love was a reality TV show that ran for 3 seasons, ending in 2009, where women all vied to be Michael's girlfriend. Bateman was eliminated in the last season of the show. TMZ is reporting that it's unclear as to what caused her death, and police are investigating. All it takes is $2 and a dream. Correspondent Julie Walker reports the Powerball jackpot grows to 10 figures after Saturday's drawing ends without a winner.
Powerball players get another chance Monday at a jackpot estimated at $1.1 billion after no one won the big prize Saturday night.
We've got another life-changing jackpot for you in an estimated amount of $1.034 billion.
Saturday's numbers were 3, 18, 22, 27, 33, and the Powerball 17. The new estimated jackpot at $1.1 billion before taxes would be the 5th largest prize in the game's history. While someone will eventually win, the odds are astronomical. 1 in 292 million. Odds makers say you're more likely to have a vending machine fall on you. I'm Julie Walker. Good luck.
We hope you have a safe and enjoyable Labor Day. America in the Morning for September 1st, 2025 is produced by Jeff McKay. I'm John Trout. This is Westwood One.